I never believed in curses. Not until the house on Elm Ridge Lane. My wife, Leah, and I were newly married, chasing that picture-perfect American dream. We found the house for a steal, a 3-story Victorian, hidden in a quiet pocket of a sleepy town in Indiana. The realtor said the last owner passed away suddenly. That should have been a red flag. But the price, too good to walk away from. First week, things were fine. Then the scratching started, from inside the walls. At first, I thought it was mice, maybe squirrels. But it didn't sound like scurrying. It was deliberate, like fingers dragging against wood. At night, I could hear breathing. I'd press my ear against the wall and swear I felt a pulse, like the house itself had a heartbeat. Leah laughed it off. "You're being dramatic," she'd say. But I started to notice her glancing at the walls when she thought I wasn't looking. One night, I followed the noise to the attic. It was colder than the rest of the house. In the corner, I found a chest. Old, heavy, padlocked. Something about it made my skin crawl. The padlock was rusted, but it came off easily with a crowbar. Inside, old photos. A family, black and white, faded. And underneath, a tape recorder, labeled in Sharpie, Play ME. The voice on the tape was ragged, male, barely above a whisper. They think I'm crazy, but I hear them at night, in the walls, watching, whispering. They took my son. I tried to tell the police, but no one believes me. There was a pause, and then, "If you're hearing this, don't stay. It's in the walls. It's in the F." The tape ended abruptly. I rewound it and played it again. Same ending. "It's in the walls." I dug deeper. The voice on the tape belonged to the previous owner, Joseph Kessler. His son, Michael, had gone missing in that very house. Body found weeks later. The death was ruled an accident, but no one explained why the boy's body was found inside the walls. Leah didn't want to hear it. "That's just urban legend crap. Let it go." But I couldn't. One night, Leah screamed. Not like a bad dream scream. Like someone being ripped apart. She pointed to the wall beside our bed. He was there, standing there, watching me, inside the wall. Her hands were shaking, eyes wide. She didn't sleep for days after that. The scratching turned into whispers, then voices. "Get out! He sees you. Don't look in the attic." I stayed up one night with a notepad, documenting every sound. I could almost predict them. The house spoke at 3:15 a.m. every night. I even installed cameras, but they never picked up a thing. Not the sound, not the figures Leah and I saw. I went to the police, told them everything, played the tape. The deputy leaned back, sighed. "That case is closed. What you're describing is just residual trauma from a house's history." I wanted to scream. I wasn't imagining it. Something was in that house. Something alive. I broke through the wall behind the fireplace. I don't know why. Instinct. The whispering was louder there. Behind it, a narrow crawl space. Cramped, reeking of rut. Inside, I found a child's shoe. Tiny, red, and carved into the wood beams. "I'm still here." Leah vanished. No struggle. No sign of forced entry. Just gone. Her phone left on the couch. Car keys still in the bowl by the door. I called everyone. The police came again. Nothing. I know the house took her. And I know how insane that sounds. I stopped sleeping. Every creak, every murmur in the walls. It wasn't random anymore. It was directed at me. I started leaving the lights on. Every room. Every hallway. I even slept in the living room with a bat and a flashlight. And then I heard my wife's voice, whispering my name. But she was gone, and she wasn't whispering from the front door or the phone. She was whispering from inside the walls. I began tearing apart the house. I had to know what was behind the walls. Behind the plaster in the master bedroom, I found old writing. Not paint, not ink, blood. They fed me lies. They fed it flesh. I took photos, sent them to a paranormal investigator I found online. He never replied. 2 days later, I found out he died in a car crash. I searched deeper in the crawl space and found a child's notebook wrapped in a rotted pillowcase. Michael Kessler's diary. Pages filled with sketches, twisted figures, teeth for faces, children with stitched eyes. It sleeps in the bones of the house, he wrote. It sings to me when I'm quiet. On the final page, if I don't feed it, it finds someone else. I walked the neighborhood looking for answers. One neighbor, Mrs. Holloway, finally spoke. That house, it's hungry, she whispered. Every few years, someone moves in. Then the cops come. I asked her what it wanted. She said, not what, who. That house is favorites. I checked my cameras again, frame by frame, and there, for half a second, a figure in the hallway. Long hair, nightgown. Leah. She stood still, just outside the guest room door, her face turned toward the wall, as if listening, and then she vanished. Officer McGill came back, the same guy who dismissed me weeks ago. This time he looked different, pale, sweating. I pulled the Kessler case file, he said. Most of it was sealed, but I saw something off. He showed me a photo, taken at the crime scene, the wall torn open, and inside, a second body. Not the kid, an adult. They buried this, he said. No ID, just stuffed in there. Mold had started growing everywhere. Thick, black, slimy. I had it tested. Not normal. The lab called me, said the spores weren't identified in any known database. Where did you say this came from? The woman asked. I told her. She hung up without another word. I tore open every wall. My hands bled. My mind fractured. And then, in the dining room, I found it. A hidden chamber. Small. Stale A. A child's mattress. Bones. Dozens of them. The walls were covered in writing. She never left. Listen to the song. You're next. That night, I heard them. Hundreds of voices. All at once. Singing. Crying. And one voice stood above the rest. Leah, let me go, she begged. I screamed, slammed the walls, tore at the floorboards, but I couldn't reach her. And then silence, like the house was satisfied. I lit the match myself, soaked every inch of that cursed house in gasoline, watched it burn, heard it scream. They never found Leah's body, or mine, apparently, because as I write this, I'm still here, in the walls, watching, and someone else just bought the land. They are rebuilding. I tried to warn them. It's been 2 years since the fire. I left town, moved 3 states away, got therapy, grew a beard, changed my name. But last night, I heard Leah's voice again, whispering from the walls, my new walls. I saw the listing online, 3-bed, 2-bath, newly constructed on a historic property, price to sell. It was my old address, just rebuilt. A new family had moved in, smiling, full of hope. They didn't know what lay beneath their foundation. I returned at night. The smell of smoke still hung in the soil. I stood on the spot where the crawl space used to be, where the bones were. The ground felt wrong, soft, like something was still breathing beneath. I placed my hand on the dirt, and it was warm. I tried to warn them, wrote anonymous letters, sent articles, even mailed Michael Kessler's diary. Nothing stopped it. The new owner's daughter started screaming in her sleep, talking to people who weren't there. Her drawings, exactly like the ones in Michael's journal. The house had chosen again. McGill reached out again, said he'd reopen the case. 2 days later, he was dead. Official cause, suicide. But I read his final text, sent to me at 3:07 a.m. You were right. It's still here, and it's in the walls. I kept hearing Leah's voice, every night, calling my name. I finally asked, where are you? Her answer, right behind you. I toned. Nothing, just a wall. But there was a new crack in it, and something dripping out. Before I disappeared, I recorded everything. My story, the voices, the things I saw. If you're watching this, listening, it means it's chosen you too. Check your walls. It likes to hide just behind your headboard, where you can't see it unless the lights are off. Some say the mind plays tricks. That trauma makes ghosts out of memory. But if that were true, why are your walls creaking right now? Why did your lights flicker just moments ago? Why do you suddenly feel watched? So now I leave you with this question. If someone you loved whispered from your walls, would you listen? Or would you make the same mistake I did?